Hey there, and welcome back to another video. I am still fiddling with Unity 3D. Everything you see in this video I've learned from tutorials or workshops found online, and it's all stuff you can do. I'm still days into this, less than a week even. It's been a couple of days since my last video, so let's show you what has changed. So as you can see, everything looks a damn sight prettier. That's thanks to a new shader, which is a scripted shader. Supposed to be reminiscent of your cell shaded graphics, or the Wind Waker style, as many people like to call it. And I'll link you to that in the description, because it's a pretty in-depth tutorial, pretty complex. I'm barely wrapping my head around it, but I'm very glad I was able to implement it. Though it doesn't work with the universal rendering pipeline, which is sort of like the newer sort of upgrade to the way things get done in Unity. So I'm going to see if there's a fix for that, so that I can make use of its other features, including shader graphs. Besides that, there's the water you can see, which has replaced the rather plain and boring sort of just all-around Starfield skybox that we had prior, which is actually an asset on the Unity Asset Store, a free asset, mind, the low poly water pack. So I will link you to that as well. I've messed around with its settings because it's definitely not appearing as it does in the preview screenshots on the asset page, but I mean, that just goes to show how versatile the asset is when you really start fiddling with it. So definitely go check that out. As you can see, before we even leave the starting area, you can see this little thing I'm rolling around on that we started in this little frame. I've been fiddling with Blender besides Unity, and I've learned how to make really simple meshes. So all I've done literally is hollow out a primitive cube for this and flatten it a bit, and then I exported it, and now I've got a prefab in Unity of a frame, a one-piece mesh for a frame. So I'm learning that as well, and as we go I'll be able to make more complex stuff in order to really flesh out and make unique this this ball game that I appear to now be making. Because yes, I've decided to make it a full game, maybe 5 levels, 10 levels, something simple, just so that I can have a complete project at the end of it, and take the knowledge I learn and apply it to something a little more complex. So we'll start off by just rolling around, because that's pretty much all we can do here. We are a ball, we roll around. We still have the respawn fade in from white thing going on there. Green blocks still get knocked over, as you can see. Pow pow. Still got that popping sound effect. I need to record or create a better effect for that, because it sounds way too Minecrafty for my liking right now. However, if you notice, there's a different visual effects that plays now. Definitely much better, matches the colour of the block. Very, very fun, sort of in your face almost. I might have to make that a little less raucous for the next video, but we shall see. So we'll carry on to the left here. I'll show you that bridge later on, because it's kind of cool. What we've got here is a destructible blocks, which are purple destructibles that we have the same tag as last time, and the same scripting on them to a degree, in that they explode when the player touches them. However, if you have a listen, you might notice something is a little bit different besides the VFX. Yep, that was 4 different sounds. So we have now a component and script that essentially means that on collision with those particular objects, the game will select between we'll select one of 8 different audio clips that I've defined in the editor to play, and it will be a different one every time, near enough. And what I'm thinking to do with that is take 8 notes from a scale that complement each other, and record them with a synth key, you know, and then make something really nice in that, because currently it's just a recording of me knocking on a surface of wood that I've pitch shifted in Audacity. Placeholder clips, to be honest. But we'll knock a few of those out again. It's really quite a fun little feature, is that. As you can see, we're on this moving platform now, which is no different from the blue block that we had in the last video, except it's got a more practical application in terms of level design, which is something I'm also reading up on. As you can see, I've put a little bit more effort into this sort of demo area, but it certainly ain't no level yet. And moving on, we've got our red blocks here, which are still just as deadly and just as merciless. They will not hesitate to kill you. If you bump into one, however, things are a little bit different. Now the red blocks will explode just like any other block when they come into contact with the seabed, call it, the death floor underneath the water effect there, meaning that when you contact them with the ball, they will ping away as if they had their own mass, because they do. They have rigid bodies now too, as you can see, just to make things a little more interesting when you die. And that brings us to the death screen. After learning how to fade in from white, I spent a little time tinkering, came upon one or two little issues that I then solved. Fortunately, it was a simple enough one for me to attack. Basically, now when you die, on collision with the offending object, the game over screen comes in. A black screen on the canvas, the same one as the white screen, fades into a 50% alpha from 0, and text comes up on the screen to 100% alpha from 0. As you can see, this is very specific to the red block. Defeated by a red block of all things. Press R to restart the level. So if I were to fall on the ocean floor, hit the water, I've actually set it so it won't say that. We've got a different one defined in the editor there for that, which I think is also pretty cool. You could have some sarky comment for every method of death available on the level if you wanted, just to make it fun. So we'll pop into the water now and I'll show you that one there. Yeah, that's my placeholder audio clip there. You can tell I used some professional kit to record that. Anyway, so not sure how you did it, but you fell. Press R to restart the level. So again, unique death screen, which is great. Now with some kind of death game over graphic thing going on, or maybe a level life counter or something, I'm sure that could be much more interesting. So we'll work on that. This bridge is cool, just another application of the destructible blocks that we've got there currently. So far all I've done is stand them up and have you able to run into them. They've not been any use, but this is one of the applications that they potentially could be used for. This is like a bridge of no going back. Once you've rolled across it, you've rolled across it. There ain't no going back there. As you can see, if I did, I'll just go into the water. We've got another one here that's just a 1x1x1 cube, which basically, once I've figured out textures and having different faces for different textures, wrapping I think it is, you'll be able to bump into it, and it could be a crate or a box, and maybe it would spawn something when it's destroyed, like coins or a power-up or a shield or something. I want to make a sort of shield attached to the player that spawns on a pickup, that will then take the collision in place of the player when you bump into a red block one time. So like if you remember the old Sonic games on the Sega, you used to get the little shield, wow, it'd come on, flash around you, and it would save you from one hit. So something like that, just to sort of give the player an incentive to open a box, would be nice. No going back on that bridge. If you are careful and smart about it, you can extend the usage time of the bridge. Attacking it at a higher velocity will render less contact with the bridge. But if there was no block there, I would have surely gone over the other edge. But again, it just makes things more fun for a player to consider what they're doing and how they're doing it, because I can get back across this bridge until those blocks are gone, really, which is pretty sweet, to be honest. So yeah, I'm looking more into the language of C# as well, purely because a better understanding of its behaviour will render me more capable of solving problems I come across. A lot of what you see here has been implemented from following tutorials, although I'm making efforts to understand what I'm doing. Some of this stuff is actually off my own back with that knowledge, so I've equipped myself with the sword of collision detection, basic understanding, to slash the beast of how to make the player explode instead of the enemy, things like that. That was such a lame way of saying it. Anyway, so yeah, so there have been problems, there have been little things I've had to figure out, and I feel like I'm meeting some success. I think, if anything, it looks damn pretty, and it is practically playable. So with a little more effort into a level, I should have a full level for the next video. I'm also going to implement those collectibles, like I said, as well as, I hope, a level timer. So I'll either go with a countdown to completion, or a just to keep track of time you've spent so far, for the purpose of rating and scores maybe, and a life system, so that once you've run out of lives, the level resets as well as your score. Of course, that will be more convenient if I could then work checkpoints into levels, So not only do you have 3 lives, you'll respawn at a checkpoint instead of at the start of the level. And you'll only go to the start of the level when you've lost all your lives, and it will give you your lives back. That's my next aim. So I'll see you in the next video when I've achieved those things. And if you look in the description, you'll find links to most, if not all, of the tutorials I've been using, where I've learned all this stuff. And yeah, if you're enjoying this, and I hope you are, like the video, subscribe to me. I'll be doing more of these in the future. Thank you very much, and well, go safe.